One of the biggest barriers with filming your adventures comes when a lot of times you're just too fatigued to actually just go and set up the camera. But I do promise you that it is worth it always in the end, and you're always glad that you went back and got the shot that you didn't want to get. And the more that you upload, the better you are going to be about seeing really unique and creative angles and learning how to actually go through and edit your videos. Each video that you create, I promise you, will be better than the next. So here's some of the gear that I use for filming my videos. Number one, you really want to make sure that your gear is streamlined and lightweight for the field. If you remember in the intro when I said that it's a really big pain in the butt to actually film something when you don't feel like it, one of the easiest ways to mitigate that is to always have a camera on your side, which is why one of my go-to pieces of equipment is actually my iPhone, which is what I'm filming with right now. They say that the best camera that you can have is the one that you will constantly have access to. And for me, my iPhone and then the following piece of gear are two things that I always have on me and are super easily accessible. If you think about it, a lot of people will carry their really big camera in their backpack and they never want to grab it out. With your phone, it's always on you. You're using it for navigation. It's super easy just to pull out and grab a quick pan of the situation that you're in. What I actually filmed my JMT documentary on was just my iPhone 11. And I got a ton of people just asking me what the heck I filmed my stuff with. And I had to actually say that it was an iPhone 11. Now, what you can do a little bit later that we'll talk about is you can color grade, which actually makes it a little bit better than what you would actually see on your photo album. A lot of times what iPhones will do will underexpose the image or the video so that you can come in later in post-production, which is video editing, and you can go in there and you can color grade, which is just color correcting your footage. So you would pair that with a tripod, just like I did for the JMT, and that could be your run and gun and your sole thing that you use to capture your adventures. Now, of course, you can go and you can get a really nice Nikon, Sony, or whatever. It's just the fact that it's super heavy, you have to carry around lenses, and let's be honest, this is shot on an iPhone 11. When the 14 comes out, who knows what that's gonna look like, and honestly, they're just getting closer and closer to becoming a professional camera. In my mind, it's kind of like, why not? They're just, right now what they're missing is just the zoom in capabilities, but I'm sure that will get there at some point. The other con with just a phone is that the fact that it doesn't really have that good of stabilization. So when you're walking with the phone or you're trying to get yourself talking and you're walking at the same time, the phone's constantly bouncing, or if you're trying to run and capture something, it really doesn't do a good job, which is the reason I got my second piece of gear, which is the GoPro 9. A lot of people told me to get a GoPro a long time ago. I wish I would have listened to them. In my mind, it was just for POV shots, action shots, and things like that, but I've actually used this on my Colorado Trail documentary as my primary piece of filming equipment. I would set this up on a tripod at all times, and so it was super easy to just set it up, walk past, come back, grab it, and then put it back into my shoulder pocket. I would also use it to talk, and it's got really great stability, and one of the most impressive things with it is actually its audio quality. Here's a clip. We figured out that these topo lines, we can't read maps. That's what we figured out. Yeah. So we're gonna go up the west side of Hinman. So for me, the reason I got that GoPro in the first place was because I wanted something really small and lightweight and streamlined. And so getting an external mic for the GoPro was out of the question. And so I'm very, very happy with the audio that it currently runs on. A little tweak that I do is actually to put a dead cat fur on the microphone to cut out some of the wind. Now with the GoPro, what you need is you just need to have a memory card and then a couple extra batteries and you're set. And then really this is the last piece of gear that you need to film is just an external charger. It could be because you're gonna be using more battery on your phone, and you can actually use this to charge your GoPro if you need to, but it's mostly for your phone. You really can go with just the iPhone and a tripod, or you can combine it with the GoPro, but I would say at least what you need is an iPhone, a tripod, and then an external charger just to get started. Peeling back another layer, what you can have is a drone. Now I just picked up a drone, and the reason was because I was seeing a lot of drone shots in some of the YouTube videos that I would watch, and to me it really increased the production value of those videos, and I wanted to hop on the train. But this is something that you really don't need to have until maybe later on in your filming journey. It's really good for creating establishing shots and showing the magnitude of the land that you are in. So it is something that could be a later purchase for you. Now with talking heads or studio clips, which is basically what this is right now, what do you need? You can use, again, just your iPhone. I like to have some sort of external microphone for this for sure. And so I'll use a lav mic, super cheap. You can get them off Amazon. And then the only other thing you really need is some type of light. So I have a ring light that I actually have my phone on as a tripod right now. You need at least one good light. What you can also do though is also use light from a window if you don't have a light, and that works pretty dang good, especially when it's like midday and there's a lot of lights shining in from the window. What my studio looks like now is I try to have at least 2 lights on me, and then also I have some sort of backlight for my YouTube videos, and that kind of just creates some of the contrast. And then obviously having some sort of background that represents what it is that you're talking about or represents you looks really good to draw the viewer in and connect with you and the content that you're talking about. What I'll do for that is just what I'm doing for here. I'll actually have a Google Drive doc pulled up on my computer that's off screen, and I'll have some of my key words and key points that I want to hit, and I'll just really just start talking. One thing you want to make sure that you're doing is looking actually at the lens instead of just at the camera. You can kind of tell if I'm looking over here at the camera, it doesn't seem as interactive as when I am looking at the lenses. And sometimes I screw this up myself, but it does take some getting used to. Now, some common shots that you might want to get when you are filming in the field. Number one is going to be your establishing shot. An establishing shot is just like I was talking about with the drone shots, how they do that so well. It's basically just showing the viewer where it is that you are and showing kind of the landscape and just the vastness or the magnitude of wherever it is that you're at. And a lot of times you're in the outdoors, so the outdoors is really going to be able to do this for you. It's just your job to capture it. So what you can do if you don't have a drone is to do panning shots. And so when you do panning shots, you want to make sure that you're doing it very slowly, because we all know those dad videos that you watch on YouTube and they're panning at 100 million miles an hour and you can barely even see what's going on. So pan even slower than you think you need to. Don't move your phone, actually move your whole body with the phone, like so. And it'll create a lot smoother transition. When you're making these panning shots, you want to have them in your video every so often just to give the viewer the kind of, again, taste of where it is that you're at. You want to be going in the same direction every single time. So there's continuity, if that's a word, in the clips that you're capturing. So if you're going this way with your first pan, that's the way that you want to go with the rest of your pans. Don't try to mix it up. It kind of confuses the viewer a little bit. Then of course you have your tripod, which is super important, especially if you're solo and they're just your locked off shots. But what you can do in post-production when you're editing is actually add in a little bit of movement to that to make it look like someone's panning it as you're walking past. Then of course you have the talking head, which is really good with the GoPro because you're not getting a lot of that bounce and a lot of that shake. But really the ultimate thing when you're on an adventure is getting other people to go with you, because filming others is way easier than filming yourself and can take a lot of the stress out of having to walk back and grab your tripod, grab your film equipment. As you start progressing and making your YouTube videos, like I said before, your videos are gonna get better and better every single time that you pick up the camera, film, and edit. So I would really encourage you to do this for most of your upcoming trips, even if it's something that maybe you wouldn't normally film. Create a little movie about it and see how that goes, and learn some of these storytelling techniques that we'll go over a little bit later, and just start honing your craft, because the more that you do it, the better it will get. And a video that you made 10 videos ago, you're gonna look at, and I swear you're gonna be like, what was I doing?
The video that you just watched is actually from a course I created called the Outdoor Creator Academy. I cannot understate the fact that right now is quite possibly the best time ever to grow on social media. In my course, I address all the pain points that I had as an outdoor creator myself. This course is going to be those that are in the outdoor creator niche specifically. There's hours of content going over mindset, strategy for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube specifically. how to create the best content for each platform that resonates, how to build your audience, steps that you want to think about when you're building an audience, and the things you want to think about before you create a post, how to eventually start monetizing your work, how to work with the brands that you love and how to negotiate with them, and also things that you really need to know about but that nobody talks about, which are taxes. This is just entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Now, currently, this course is only available for 5 days, and I just released it today. Check out the link in my description. We'll see you there.